Hi guys, Kid Panda here. Figured I'd go ahead and make up a video. Some people have asked about this, so I figured I'd go ahead and put one together. This is basically going to be me doing a video of my PCB collection. I haven't been doing it very long. I guess maybe about a year and 6 months, almost 2 years, I guess. Kind of picked up stuff that I used to play when I was a kid, and took a gamble on some that I hadn't played. I tried MAME and emulation and stuff like that, so picked up a couple that I really dug. So we're going to go through a couple. I'm going to try to go through them as fast as I can, kind of touch on the ones that I really enjoy, and quite honestly there's actually a couple that I've only tested and haven't really sat down and played with. So we're going to do probably at least 2 videos. Hopefully we can get through them kind of fast. So I basically just went in my closet and pulled out a couple of them. See how many I got out right now. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. So we got 16 PCBs out right now. Going to go ahead and break them out, and I'm going to set them on this table, and we're going to go through them. All right. First one I got is a heavy barrel PCB. Hold on just a second, I need to actually get something taken off here. One of the feet is actually just sitting on here. Heavy barrel was one of the rotary joystick games. Actually, I used to play a lot of rotary joystick games, and this happened to be one that I actually picked up and got a pretty good deal on it with the actual sticks and such. So we're going to go and check this one out. It's a Data East game. It's a little bit of a beefy board. It is a dual layer. Let's see if I can actually lift it and show it to you. It is a dual layer. This one's in pretty good shape. There's not really any issues with it or whatever. I have messed with it, and if you notice here, this is actually your connections for your rotary joysticks. Pretty fun game. I like it. I haven't really sat down with it. I just played on emulation, and so that's pretty much heavy barrel. It's not really that exciting to look at, but it's there. So okay, on to the next one. Sorry about the lack of editing here. So like I said, I'm trying to go fast as I can through these games, so you guys don't have a lot of lull time. Next up is one that I actually used to play a lot at my local arcade when I was a kid. A lot of people don't really care for this one, but it's one of the first of quite a few games from a company I really do love, and that would be Tato. And this is actually, I guess I actually better sit that on there. Well, this actually isn't sitting the way I want it to sit. There we go. Alright, this is actually, some people call it Rastan, some call it Rastan. I guess it just really depends on where you're from. It's a single layer PCB, nothing really fancy, just a regular Taito board. Game's actually really enjoyable. A lot of people kind of poop on it and complain about its difficulty and its cheapness. It's not exactly the greatest action platformer, but for the time it was really good, and it was a game I always played, and I really liked the music in it, and it's actually pretty decent, so I dig it. So that's pretty much that one. Alright, next up is another personal fave, one that I grew up playing. Also one of the many Capcom games that I own. This one was actually on CPS-1 hardware. and this is actually Magic Sword. Game I really liked, enjoyed. It's pretty much hard as nails. Great two-player action game. Buddy and I used to play it. There was actually a video store about 2 blocks away from his house. It actually had like a smaller arcade in the back, and we would actually go in there and we would just pump quarters into this machine. The first time I actually played it, we pretty much credit fed. I think probably spent about $7 a piece. But we actually beat the game. It's I think it's 50 floors, I think, is in the game. Usually about floor 35 to 50 is just, it's so intensely hard. Massive amounts of slowdown because there's so much stuff going on. But definitely a top-notch title, a good Capcom game, and it's not really that expensive. So if you ever get a chance, pick it up. It's actually really good. Alright, next up is a CPS2 title. Actually one of the better beat-em-ups on the system, on the CPS2 system. Never got to play this game in the arcade, but I had actually played it in emulation, and this was definitely one of the first titles I went after when I actually started buying arcade PCBs. And that would be Alien vs. Predator. Real cool beat-em-up, definitely evolved from Final Fight, certainly, definitely. Game has Street Fighter type moves. Most people have pretty much played it. I think anybody that's going to be watching this video has definitely probably played this game in some shape, form, or fashion, whether it be the actual arcade machine or emulation or just, you know, they actually bought the PCB. So nothing really fancy about it. It was one I wanted to pick up. So it's actually still running on its battery. It's not even Phoenix. Speaking of, I actually need to change the battery in it pretty soon. So, but yeah, it's Alien vs. Predator. Alright, now this one is one that's very dear to my heart. I originally played the Genesis version of the game, and it was actually one of the games I got free from Sega. They were running a promotion where you would actually buy 3 games, and then you would send in the UPCs, and about 6 to 7 months later, well, not really that long, it's probably about 6 weeks, you would actually get a title in the mail. And it was one of the few that I got and just fell in love with it. So once again, when I started buying arcade PCBs, it was one I was really after. So in the States, it's known as Truxton, and I actually have the Tatsujin board, which is actually the Japanese variant of Truxton, or Truxton, excuse me. This one's a little bit different. I think the difficulty is a little bit harder, but definitely love it. The game's absolutely awesome. Really hard. I mean, probably one of the hardest games I've ever played. If I'm not mistaken, Tatsujin actually translated, in a kind of sloppy way, is actually stands for expert, which is definitely what you have to be if you ever even conceive that you're going to one credit clear this game. So this is another one that I was really after. Played it a bunch on the Genesis. Like I said, I'd never played the arcade, and when I actually got a chance to pick one up, I picked up a Truxton and bought it and ended up selling it because I actually found the Tatsujin. Got it for basically a steal. This is one I'll definitely never ever let go, and I probably will never beat it. Alright, and next up is yet another one I played a lot in the arcade and actually played a lot on the Nintendo. One of my personal favorites, another old Capcom board, actually a pre-CPS1 game. And this one is 1943. really, really good. Love the music, love the gameplay. Really simplistic, really easy. If I'm not mistaken, I think there's 50 stages in it. I've gotten to about stage 35 to 40. It's been a while since I actually played it. This is actually the American version of it. I would like to get a 1943 Kai. That one actually seems to be a little difficult to find. But I picked this one up really cheap as well. Nice clean board. Just absolutely love this game. This is, like I said, this is one that I used to play in the arcades a lot when I was growing up. Definitely a top-notch title. And if you guys like shoot 'em ups, this is actually one of the solid granddaddies of the genre on its own. Definitely back when Capcom was well into their heyday. Alright, next up is a bit of a rarity. I have actually never played this one before. I did put it in just to test it, just to check it out. This is a Konami game, and I picked this one up really, really, really cheap. A lot of people are kind of weird about it, and I guess I got it at an absolute steal. Pretty, I guess, not really well known in the States. Konami game, but this is Thundercross 2. Like I said, I really haven't played it very much. From what I've actually seen, I've watched some video of it and such, and it looked really, really good. I would like to pick up the first one, but like I said, I got this one pretty much at a steal. When I bought this one, I actually got Tatsujin as well. This is the Japanese version of the board, so I actually kind of lucked out on getting that as well. So pretty much that's Thundercross 2. So I really don't have much to say about it, but it's one of the few games I have. Alright, next up is part of a line that I really, really, really enjoy. And actually, I've played this one extensively, and I really enjoy this one. Released by Atlas. This is ESP Rade. It does have a couple of sequels, or I guess spiritual sequels, ESP Galuda and ESP Galuda 2. This one's actually really, really good. Thoroughly enjoy it. I played it heavily. Even a couple of my buddies actually enjoyed this one out of all the cave games that I actually own. So this is pretty much ESP Rade. Looks like this one actually came from Fujita, so I'm sure this one's probably made the rounds. You guys may have actually recognized this board if you've actually owned this at some point. So pick this up at a pretty good deal too, so definitely one of the keepers that I have. So it's ESP Rade. Now this one's actually a bit of a beast. This is one I used to play on the Nintendo a lot, and I really didn't even know that it actually had an arcade release until about a year ago. It kind of popped up, and it was dirt cheap, and this one's actually very, very, very clean, so I went ahead and snagged it. So this is actually a Jolico release. Sorry, it's kind of big, so it doesn't really sit on the actual. Let's see, let me actually turn this so you can actually see this, so it'll be able to sit properly. There we go. Alright. This is actually, I might pronounce this wrong. I've actually heard it called a couple of things, but it's Astyanax. Astyanax. I'm not really sure how to pronounce it. But like I said, this is one that I picked up on the cheap. Scooped this from, I think, a local guy, and actually ended up going for about double of what I actually paid for it. So I guess this was a really, really good scoop. I haven't really messed with it. I put it in to test it, worked fine, no issues. So pretty much that's what it is. See, I'm actually getting a little pressed for time here, so we're going to try to smoke through these pretty quick. This was actually an acquisition rather, I should say, on a forum that I actually frequent quite a lot. It's actually a pre-JAMA board, so I actually need to make a JAMA edge for it. I hadn't even tested it, but I'm pretty sure that it actually works. This is one that I played a couple of times in the arcade, but I played a lot on the actual Nintendo. This is actually, it actually got a sequel on the Neo Geo. This is Alpha Mission. Pretty good shooty, pretty unique power-up system, and it actually has a punishing downgrade system in the game as well. So this one's actually pretty good. Like I said, I haven't been able to test it, but I'm pretty sure it works. So it's a 2-layer board. Like I said, I just need to build a wiring harness for it. So hopefully when I get that taken care of, I'll pop it in and play it quite a bit. So that's Alpha Mission. Moving right along. Alright. Next up, we have a title in a format that I've actually started to grow to love, and that will be yet another Taito board. This one is Twin Cobra 2. The Japanese version of it, so it actually, I think it's Kyoku Tiger 2. I'm not sure if I actually pronounced that right, but this is the second edition of Twin Cobra. Really solid game, not as hard as the original, but Taito F3 package system, which is basically a cart on a motherboard. So carts are pretty big. A couple other games that are actually on here that are really, really good. So definitely another one I love. Picked this up from, this is actually one of the first games that I actually picked up as far as arcade PCBs were concerned, so I really dig this one. Played a lot, buddies don't really care for it because it's a lot harder than what they're used to, so this is a really good title, love it. Alright, next up, this is one I actually played a lot of in emulation, and was one of them that I went after. Stellar music, pretty good graphics, nice setup, and this is Get Kiridon. This is actually the Asian version of it, so it is actually in English. Really, really good game. I'm not very good at it. I've got to like maybe stage 2 or 3. But yet another Taito F3 system, package system, and actually probably out of all the hardware that I've seen so far, the F3 package system is probably the most impressive, especially for 2D stuff. Pretty much everything that I've seen so far has just been 2D sprites, and really great artwork, scaling, rotation, you know, just beautiful system altogether. Supports stereo output. awesome music on pretty much all of the games, even if the game is just kind of average at best. So, yet another Taito F3 game. Get carried on. Alright, this one's a little unique. I actually keep it kind of separated because this board is actually pretty important to me. But this is also a 2-layer board set. This is a game I heavily played in the arcade. Let's see, I'm going to actually get how it is. And okay, so it's going to be like down like that. Alright, oops. And alright, that's that side. Funny, I actually have to put this thing together. Alright, hold on, let me actually do this. Yet another 2-layer board. This is actually Legend of Kage, another Taito game, and absolutely played the piss out of this thing in the arcade. Love the atmosphere, really quick, moves really good. A lot of people don't really care for the game now, obviously. It's a little old in the teeth, but it's one of my favorites. I got this one dirt cheap, and I know it works. I've actually tested it. Yet another one that I actually have to build a power or harness for, excuse me. To actually play my JamaCab. So, but if you notice, this is really odd because it has this strange, another separate power input, which is really oddball. But it's actually really, really good. Definitely one of my top-notch games. All right. Next up is a recent acquisition. Pretty good game. Somebody was actually looking out for me and actually brought this up and was like, hey, check this out. This is actually up. So I went ahead and snagged this one real fast. Yet another Data East game. Another shooty. Vertical shooter. And this one is Vapor Trail. I played the Genesis version a couple times, actually pretty decent. I liked it, dug it. Picked up the PCB, played it a couple times, haven't really sat down with it, but actually really dig it. It's another really top shelf title as far as being cheap is concerned. So if you ever get a chance, check out that one. Alright. And considering our time is pretty much winding down, I've got about 1:30. Actually, it will be as long as I need to actually sit down and explain this one real fast. This was a game that was actually at my drugstore, my local drugstore, for years and years and years. They never got rid of it, and it was one I always played. It is one of the precursors to the modern fighting genre, Yar Kung Fu. Very interesting for the time because it was one of the few games that actually had special moves. About the same time, Karate Champ came out, and it was a little bit different. In the fact that Karate Champ had 2 joysticks for each controller or each person. This particular game was basically you had a punch and a kick button, and then you had an 8-way directional joystick. And actually, the way it would work is you would time it by pressing a punch button and then pushing a direction, or pressing a kick button and pressing a direction. And it would actually do different moves depending on the actual direction that you push. So in all actuality, the character actually has 16 different special moves. So one game I absolutely just played all the time, loved it to death. Definitely one of the best games I personally played. Definitely has a soft spot in my heart. So if you guys ever get a chance to check it out, definitely check out Yar Kung Fu. Well, I got about 15 seconds left on the video, so I just want to thank you guys for watching what you have seen so far, and there will actually be another video for sure. It looks like there might be several videos. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you guys later.